Rabbil Alamin. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum and very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Our respected guest for today, and also we welcome a student from faculty of Millenial. So we are very glad to have you and be here and at the same time join our program today. And well, without any further delay, we would like to call Dr. Mohammed Yusof to start his talk, inshallah. So make it easy, make yourself comfortable, and try to learn a lot from our speaker here, inshallah. He is very experienced and well, quite interesting topic that he willing to share with us. Okay, I now give this mic to him for him to start the talk.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan 'abduhu wa rasuluh. You understand what I was saying earlier? This is actual the opening remarks. So before we do our speech, we seek blessing from Allah Ta'ala. So basically what I was reciting just now is praising Allah Ta'ala and seeking His blessing, inshallah. I'm a bit embarrassed because I'm wearing flip-flops because I thought it's going to be in the Musalla. But never mind, this is a small matter, right? Because I'm always prepared myself, say, oh, Tom, you must wear shoes. But many times, when I arrive at the venue, oh, we don't have to wear shoes. Because it's always going to be in the Musalla, in the hall, whatever, where you have to remove the shoes. So this time I think, maybe it's just the same. You see, when I don't wear shoes, they still wear shoes. So always wear shoes. Yeah? Never mind. So Alhamdulillah, I just came back from Aceh, a family trip. It was a splendid experience, marvelous I must say, seeing the remnants of the tsunamis. There are still remnants there, although they have been rebuilt by the sponsorship of many countries around the world who helped them to rebuild back their countries, but you can see the remnants of the tsunamis. So, the sea is very beautiful. If you go to Aceh, before we go to the topic, if you go to Aceh, the sea is very beautiful. It's turquoise, greenish, bluish, all this ish. It's very nice, very beautiful. And then we went to Pulau Sabang, famous island in Aceh. If you go to Aceh, you must go to Pulau Sabang. Wow, Pulau Sabang, very nice. You see the greatness of Allah Ta'ala, subhanahu wa ta'ala. I actually have the fear of swimming because, not because I can't swim, because, the song, Baby Shark do-do-do-do-do, Baby Shark do-do-do, keep playing. When you see water, Baby Shark do-do-do-do-do, Baby Shark. The sounds, the song, cute, but we know the reality. But because the beauty is so much, it overcomes my fear. I jump into the water. I terjun juga dalam laut. I don't care. So it's very beautiful. Colorful fishes, There's one fish, very beautiful. Sangat cantik. Turquoise. It's called ikan kakak tua. Parrot fish. Okay? It's turquoise, bluish. It's very hard to get close. It come close to you, tapi dia jinak-jinak merpati. It come close to you, but the moment you want to touch him, it flips and ran. But we use the duck, the me. We spread the me in the ocean, and then it comes very closer, and then I touch it. Wow, that was the biggest victory of my trip because the fish was very beautiful. All the fishes, the scenery in there is very beautiful. But then, when you came out from the water and you go back to 2004, you see what can that beautiful ocean did to the whole nation of Aceh. Nampak tak? From turquoise, bluish, greenish, it becomes brownish, blackish, muddy, and disastrous. So it reminds us of the characteristic of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He creates everything beautiful. Yeah. But at times, He will make the beautiful things unbeautiful. Why? Because human has transgressed. Manusia sudah melampaui batas. But alhamdulillah, over there they have rebuilt. But and then when you see all the remnants, all the kapal, the big kapal tentera, PLTD punya kapal, gets wiped 5 kilometers away from the ocean. You see the masjid in Lam Tengah. The whole structure has been demolished by the wave of tsunami. But the only remnant left is the Kubah, is the dome. And the dome has been swiped 2.5 kilometers and rests in a village. Apa nama kampung tu? Forget the name. Now, in the kampung, ada kubah tu je. Masjid tak ada. 80 tan. 80 tons weight of the dome been swiped away by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these things and others reminds me of our attitudes in dealing with the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because my field of studies is in psychology. So people like me who take psychology seriously, when we go to holiday, we don't go null and void. There's some reflection that we do. Also coming from a bit religious background, so I always relate it with religion, with Islam. So what I see is that sometimes we think we do things that God likes. Yeah. This is the millennials challenge, the thinking challenge, the challenge of how you perceive the world. We think by becoming too harmony, too lovey-dovey, never mind lah, love. Man and man, as long as love, okay lah. God love what? Right? We think that way and we think God loves it. We think God will bless it. We think when we think it that way, God will send the angels and fly on us, blessing us. Yeah, that is true. Even man and man, it's all, never mind, as long as it is love. Right? We have this kind of thinking. And we think it is nice. And we think it is true. But for Allah Ta'ala, for God, it is not. If you don't believe me, go back to the Bible. Go back to the Quran. Nothing contradictory when it comes to these kind of things. Dua-dua kitab cakap Tuhan angkat, terbalikkan. Ada Tuhan lovey-dovey. Oh, never mind lah. Those people, they love each other. They are not making it, for lust, You think God deal with that way? No. And unfortunately, this is the thinking that most young people, the millennials, are harboring at this moment. Wallahi. Faham Faham? You know, when I give talks, I always give this two stories. The Abraham stories, slaughtering his sons. Okay lah, for the Christian they say it's Isaac, for Muslim we say Ismail. Never mind, we say his son. For normal Muslims, for normal Christians, they see those stories as, oh, Abraham is good, he follows the order of God. But if you go deep, it has more subtle than what the lay meaning gives you. You know what is it? Siapa boleh teka? I bagi dia goreng pisang. The story of Adam. Kan? The story of Adam. God prohibited Adam and Eve from approaching the tree. La taqrabu hadhihi shajarata fatakuna minaz zalimin. Not only even approaching it is prohibited. Why? Normal Muslim, normal Christians would say that, oh, God's order we should obey. But it has more subtle than that. Subtle meaning than that. Apa dia? Cuba teka. Tak ada siapa Okay. No one dare to take the challenge. Goreng pisang challenge. So in the story of Abraham, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, when I order you to do something, even though it is against your lovey-dovey feelings, even it is against your fatherly feelings, even it is against your motherly feelings, when I ask you to do, do. Alright. Faham? Imagine if we can travel back to the time of Abraham, carrying this millennial thinking, what would we say to Abraham? This is violating human right, you know. He's the child. He needs fatherly love. This is what we have been brainwashed. And when we say that, do we think that we are on the wrong path? No, we are confident that we are right. Why? Because we are carrying the human standard of law. But Allah SWT says no. If I say do it, do it. But of course, Alhamdulillah, Allah saved the son from being slaughtered. It was replaced by a ram or bulls. Ram, kambing biri-biri lah. Ram. A sheep. So, in the story of Adam, God prohibited Adam from eating the fruit. What is the subtle meanings behind the stories? When I ask you to do something, even it is the simplest thing, even it looks stupid, don't eat that fruit. Do it. If I ask you not to eat, don't eat. If I ask you to eat, eat. We have this version of Adam's story that is not in the Bible, where Allah Ta'ala says to the angel to prostrate to Adam, sujud kepada Nabi Adam. Sujud is only reserved to who? Allah Ta'ala alone. But when Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala said prostrate, you prostrate. Don't do this budget harmony, kind of nak ambil hati, thinking like, we should only worship you. We don't want to worship Adam. No, Allah Ta'ala said, if I ask you to prostrate to Adam, prostrate. I'll give you an example. If you in the traffic, dalam perjalanan, you are at the traffic light. The traffic light is not working. Okay. Ada polis kat situ, the traffic police. Lampu dekat traffic light yang rosak tu merah aja. Tak ada tukar, lampu rosak. Okay. And the police says, suruh lalu. Polis suruh lalu. Even if the light is red, the light is red, do you have to move? You have to, because the police say move. The same with the case of Adam. But nowadays, the millennial thinking, they have all going 360 degrees, which we will go to see in details later. My PhD is in LGBT. I'm doing the study of LGBT. The conflict between sexual and religious identity. So, some of the respondents that I have met, not all, there are 20 respondents. I'm doing qualitative research. Only three respondents give the narratives that is against the traditional narrative in Islam regarding homosexuality. The rest, they do admit that what they do is wrong and they are seeking for a better future, inshallah. So, but the important thing I want to tell you is that sexual identity development has been clearly described in the Quran and in the scriptures, other scriptures or other religion, especially the Semitic religion, Judaism, Islam, Christianity. It has been fixed. Man, woman. That's it. Man, woman. That's it. But nowadays, people come and say that, gender is not located between your two thighs. Faham? Yes. There's one transgender who actually said that. Jantina bukan terletak di antara dua peha. It is located here, according to that. person. So maksudnya, if you think you are a man, even though down there you are a woman, you are a man. Tapi selalunya ayat-ayat macam tu adalah ayat-ayat rhetorical je. In reality, it can't be proven. Yeah. So let's go to the history of human rights. A bit of human rights. In 1950s in America, the black people, or what we usually term here as negro, don't say negro, you know. Next time they hear you say negro, they might punch you in the face. Say black people, African American. So the African American are fighting for their rights to be equal with the whites. Okay? So this group of people, this bunch of people, these homosexuals, masa tu belum ada lagi term LGBT, tak ada lagi. But this group of homosexuals, they see that as what we call as their stepping stone of coming together and claiming their rights. But unlike ethnicity, skin color, sexual orientation can't be proved biologically, genetically. It can't be proved. Yalah, kalau you kulit hitam, you boleh prove. It is scientifically proven that some people are born black, skin brownish colors because of the genetic that they carry with them. But sexual orientation, how are you going to prove it? To be genetically engineered since you're a baby in the womb? No, you can't. So what these people do is that they try to come up with the idea that homosexuality is inborn. Okay? It is not something that is created. It's not something that you choose. It is something that is given to you since your birth or since your creation in your mother's womb. For example, one study by Levy, for example. Levy is a biologist. He says that homosexuality is biologically engineered. Whoa. What is the proof? He says that after studying the brains of homosexual men, he found that the brain of homosexual men is a bit smaller than that of heterosexual men. So they say, bam, you see, it is biological. But the study has been criticized because most of the homosexual samples that Levy has taken to be in the studies are those that has been infected with AIDS. Yes. And to a certain extent, AIDS can actually shrink the size of your brain. So the study is rejected. And another studies come, the hypothalamus, the finger length, and many others. But it has been discounted. Not by Muslims, by the Westerners themselves. People who say that only Muslims are against homosexuality. No, there are non-Muslim biologists, non-Muslim neurologists who actually goes against the biological or genetic claim of homosexuality. It is not proven, it is not conclusive. But there is one reason, and I believe it strongly, why some people like the members of the same sex. Cuba teka. If it is not biological, if it is not genetic, then what it is? Social. Let us look at ourselves and see some traits that we possess from our mother or father or parents. Ada tak perangai-perangai kita ni? If you look, if you contemplate, why am I such a hot-tempered person? Cuba tengok dekat ayah. Siapa sini hot-tempered? You need to raise your hand and say it to yourself. Do my father is the way I am? Is my father the way I am? You see, when something good, when you do PhD, when I did my PhD for 5 years, it is not only the thesis that is mattered to me. It is the way I start to analyze everything. I look at my mom and I say, kenapa my mom macam ni? And then, oh my God, I have that thing. You know what? My mom, dia cepat panic. She can be quickly panic. If let's say I'm driving and I say, alamak, salah jalan. And at the back, she will be like, oh my God, kita dah sesat ke? Kita dah sesat ke? You know? ditambah intensity tu. And for her, everything is like a problem. If you don't think you can do it, don't do it. That's the way she is. Okay? May Allah bless her. She is still alive. It's good mother, maybe in some aspect. It's not really good. But never mind. Humans, we are, flawed in some ways. But then I look at myself, yes. I am my mother. I am my mother. That's why I have to do my PhD for 5 years. When you can actually finish it 3 to 4 years actually. Why? Because I'm a perfectionist. I nak cakap apa, everything I want to say, I must make sure it is proven. I must quote it precisely, 100%. I don't simply do what we call secondary referencing. I must check whether the person, this book saying something, is really saying this book, what it is been said. Buku ni kata macam ni, say, Ali 2000. I akan cari Ali 2000 ni. I will find Ali 2000 and look whether Ali really said what this book said. Some people, they just don't care. They do secondary referencing and that's it. Then, settle. I cannot. Why? And then I ask myself, why am I like this? Because it is burdensome, it is not helpful actually. It is good, but it is not smart. It is hardworking, but not smart working. And then I start to look around me and I say, I'm like my mother. But if you ask me, when did I learn that? When did you learn your mother's or father's character? No one can tell. Do you remember? Ada tak some qualities of your parents that you inherit? Because when we learn it when we were child. We look, we observe, and at that time, we don't have much vocabulary. Babies, when they cry because they are hungry, do you think they know the word Hungry? No, because they don't have the vocabulary. But is the memory there? The memory is there. The understanding of my stomach craving for some food is there. The idea is there. But the memory is not there. The words is not there. That's why you can't remember when you learn the characters of your parents, but you can remember when you smoke. Because usually you smoke when you were teenage, where you have developed, thousands of vocabulary in your mind. You know the word MEROK, merokok. You know the word cigar. You know the word curut. You know the word asap. It all makes sense to you. That's why if you ask me, when I start merokok? I start merokok when I was 19 years old, because I was stressed with my assignment, and I see people keep saying that if you're stressed, you smoke, it will release your stress. So I smoke. See, I can tell you exactly when I start smoking. But if you ask me, do you remember when you start becoming panic? Like your mom? No. I don't even have the idea that I'm actually following my mom. And it is true, funny, but it is true. We have 4 siblings. 3 of us stays in the home, spend so much time in the home. My eldest brother, he spent the last. Why? Because dia masuk sekolah asrama tak habis. Budak pandai. Masuk sekolah asrama, boarding school. Darjah 6 je, boarding school. Masuk form 1, boarding school. Form 3, MRSM. Habis MRSM, MSM, Matak Sains Mara. Habis Matak Sains Mara, went to Australia. Come back. Fall in love, umur 24, dah kahwin. So can you imagine berapa tahun je dia spend dalam rumah? That's why, in our family members, he is the one that is the most positive and the most successful. Yes. In terms of career-wise, family, ideas, My brother, this eldest brother, if I propose some ideas to him, he will never say no. He never say can't. But if I give it to my second brother, he will always, he will always like, can we do this actually? No lah, we cannot lah. And then I'm proposing him an idea, he is proposing me a problem. If we do this, this will happen. This is so unlike my eldest brother. But where do we get this? We learn from our parent. We learn from our parent. Unconscious learning. Learning does not necessarily mean that you learn it consciously. Many at times, especially during our childhood, we learn a lot of things from our parents unconsciously. Secara tak sedar, through observation. So, how is that related to homosexuality? We are coming to that. Since, let's say, we discount the idea that homosexuality is genetically or biologically engineered in the womb. We discount that. We look at the social factors. How it is developed. Okay. We have the tendency to think that a baby or toddler cannot experience feelings the way we adults experience feelings. We always say, alah, budak-budak mana tahu. Yeah, you heard that word often, yeah? Budak-budak apalah dia tahu sangat, budak-budak apalah dia tahu sangat. But actually, babies can feel. That's why if you look at videos, and sometimes you can try it on your own. I see a lot of videos in YouTube, in Facebook, where they play prank on the baby. You know, the mother hit the brother, for example, pretentiously hit the brother, and what happened to the baby? He will crawl and try to defend the brother. He understands, although cannot put it in words, he understands that his brother is being beaten up. Abang dia tengah kena pukul. Okay? And when bila the brother pretentiously died, the toddler cries. How come you say that baby cannot understand anything? They understand. The problem with the baby is that they cannot put it in words. They cannot say that, hey, stop beating my brother. They cannot say it. If they say it, kejutlah nanti, lari keluar rumah. They can't say it. But they have the feelings. So, there is a theory, social theory of how people become sexually attracted to the members of the same sex. One of the explanation is that when we are baby, the first 5 years of our childhood, we can't actually accumulate much vocabularies, but the memories are there. Once it's stuck, it won't go away. You tengok cerita Inside Out, yeah, Inside Out, kan, bing bong to certain age, tapi lama-lama bing bong dah tak boleh naik atas lagi dah, bing bong turun bawah. And the balls become grey. Why? It shows it becomes your unconscious motives. Sebab tu orang tanya you, bila you suka laki ni? Laki tak tanya laki. Bila you suka laki? Dia cakap, tak ingat lah. That's why they have the idea that it is genetic. It is biological. But actually it's no. It is social. Why? When we were kids, baby boy, listen, future fathers. A baby boy tend to identify himself with the father. You jangan ingat baby boy cannot understand that his sex is equal to his father. They do know it. They do know. They try to identify themselves with the father. But some fathers, maybe for some reasons, they are not emotionally present to the child. They are not emotionally present to the child. Faham Whether they are always outside the house, maybe outstation, okay? Or maybe they are emotionally absent because diorang ni memang jenis garang, bapak-bapak jenis garang. Sikit-sikit je nak marah, sikit-sikit je nak lempang. So anak-anak lelaki ni, they become very fearful, towards the parents, towards the father. Dia sangat takut. Because the father is so fierce, dia jadi takut. So, what do they do later? They see that the father always together with the mother, sleep with the mother, wake up together in the same room. Unconsciously, they think that since my father doesn't like me, the only way I want him to like me is to become like the mother. Why? Because the mother always with him. Sleep together, wake up on the same bed, Sometimes shower together. So they start to imitate the mother's character. unconsciously, they start to imitate the mother's character. That's why if you ask transgender nowadays, when you start become transgender, no, I become transgender since I was a kid. It is genetic, it's biological. No, it's not biological. You learn it unconsciously from the absence of emotions of your father. That's why bila you jadi bapa-bapa nanti janganlah garang sangat dengan anak-anak lelaki. Nowadays, if you are very fierce towards your child, garang sangat. There are a lot of ayah-ayah and abang-abang outside there who will give love to your child. If you get what I mean. I remember I went to this house. It is actually my friends from Indonesia. He has a sister who works as a maid in this one particular house. So we went there because he wants to send something from Indonesia to his sister. Since he has no car, so we drove on my car. We went to the house. And we went there. The house is gloomy, no light, just a dim light. So I asked the sister, the bibi lah, where's the parent? Oh, the parent the parents, the mother has, another man. The father has another woman. So they are living together, but they are doing their own things. While we were talking, 2 kids, very handsome. You can tell that when they grow up, they're going to be very handsome. Twins. They come to me and they, crawl on me and playing with the patches on my shirt. So pelik, Kids are very afraid of strangers. And these kids, they just jump over us, as if they were like saying, finally a father. Finally a father is home. A father that I don't have is home. So they play with the patches, and I look at my friend, you see? Because I've been talking about this to my friends. I say, this is what I've been talking to you, right? You see? Because these kids, they are looking for father figures. But when the father figures is not present in the house, they will look it outside. And when they become sexually matured, that energy, the love energy, the needs for a father figure become a sexual energy where they become attracted to the same sex. Honestly, I tell you, I have, some experience of men who likes me. Budak laki. But I'm not talking about this transgender, lembut-lembut, no. I'm talking about the strong people playing football, sepak takraw, You know what? When we start to know each other and then they started, actually saya sayang abang, saya suka abang. And I asked him, suka macam mana? Sexually apa? Suka lah. Dia kata, you big enough, never mind. I said, kalau saya tengok abang, saya, okay. Steam lah. Okay. I said to him, be careful. Because dia rasa, I think I'm gay. I said, no, you are not gay. You are not gay. You are looking for father figure that you are deprived of when you were kids. And I asked him, bapak mesti garang apa semua. Dia cakap, betul lah bapak garang apa semua. I said, you are not gay. Physically and behaviorally, you are not gay. Unless kalau yang datang tu memang lembut, kan? Itu kita boleh faham lah. But this guy are very masculine. And then they have these same-sex attractions towards members. They have the same-sex attraction and they think that they are gay. No, they are not gay. They are actually looking for father figures. Same goes with, women who likes women, female who likes female. The same thing. I'm still contacting with that guy, and I'm pushing him the idea that he is not gay, because your brain, if you say something to it repeatedly, it will become programmed. Because your brain cannot do miracles. They are being programmed. If you keep saying the same thing over and over again, it will become you. That's why, if you don't believe me, that brain cannot actually, we will always think that our brain is magnificent. No, they learn. They also learn. If you don't believe me, try to do this experiment. Find a partner, push your hands against each other. You can try it on the wall also, never mind. Against the wall. Press, 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 and then move away. You see your hand will raise itself. Why? Because the brain thinks that I'm still pushing, I'm still helping the hand pushing. So the brain has no idea that you're no longer pushing anything. This is what happened when we were kids. That's how what we are now actually is the product of ourselves being programmed when we were kids. That includes same-sex attraction, your attitude and stuff. That's why I used to believe that homosexuality is genetic. But after doing the thesis, the PhD, I started saying that no, it is not. It is not. It is socially programmed. Okay? So now, never mind, let's come to the challenge. Okay? Now let's come to the millennials challenge. Earlier, I've shared with you the causes of homosexuality. The factors, not the cause. The factors that affecting one's sexual orientation. Now, let's go to the millennials challenge. The problem with our teenagers, maybe your age, people of your age nowadays, is the thinking of postmodernists. Harmony, kasih sayang, that kind of thing, Biarlah ada orang nak couple lelaki dengan lelaki, they're not doing anything. They love each other kot. Love, love. Betul tak? We have this thing. Where do we learn it? We learn it from That's why, because here we learn a lot the Western cultures, the Western frameworks, to the extent that even if we are Muslim, but when a Muslim says that no, homosexuality is wrong, even if we are Christian and our Christian friends say that no, homosexuality is wrong, we say that no, you are bigots, you are racist, you are, discriminating, blah, blah, blah. And when they say that, they really think that they have spoken the truth. No, you are not spoken the truth. You are going against your religion, actually. The reason why you feel you are right is because you are thinking that I'm following the Western standard. So Western, white people, great, even Jesus is portrayed as white, so he's God. So white are gods, how they program us. So means whatever they do, whatever they say, they are right. When we went to Aceh, there's one tourist, white tourist, wearing bikinis, and after she bathed in the ocean, she came up. Like 2 or 3 people from Aceh, the locals, want to take picture with her. I said, what the dude? Why you want to take pictures with that? Just because she's white? Have you watched Nandini's? Nandini's from Says, S-A-Y, Says. She actually delivered this thing, shared this thing about white worshipping. We have been worshipping whites consciously and unconsciously. Why? Because when we were kids, remember, unconscious learning, our parents bought us Barbie dolls. What colors are Barbie dolls? White. What color of the hair? Blonde. Right? Straight. What size of the body? Spanish guitar. That's why since we were kids, we have been programmed in order for you to become someone civilized, beautiful. This is the characteristic that you must have. And that's why a lot of people like us will have, black color hair, black hair, colored their hair to become like white. Because we play so much with Barbie doll, with the Spanish guitar bodies. So, when we are a bit fat, we start to become worried. We start to define our personalities by the size of our bodies. By the size of, our boobs. We start to define ourselves by the size of our butts, for example, girls. We define ourselves by the lipstick color that we wear. We define ourselves by the length of high heels that we wear. We start to define ourselves by how much cleavage you reveal with the clothes that you wear. Why? Because we white worship. We worship white people, we worship white values. Even in the issues of gender, we are worshipping their ideas. You know, they are saying, oh, human right, you know, sounds beautiful, you know, human rights. Now, you see what happened when people are fighting for human rights? Other people of even weird, not even weird, with another weird gender affiliations are coming out. Pedophilians, they are seeking for their rights too. And if homosexuals say, no, you cannot because it's child, oh, you can, men, women, and women, we cannot child with men, old people cannot. Why? It's human rights, what? You have every excuse to say that man and man is okay. We have every excuse to say that old people and child is okay. Never mind, we will look for biological cause later. The same thing that you do, we will do. Lepas ni apa pula? Human and animal, ada. Human rights, what? Nowadays, there are even people who actually wants to become cacat because they believe that they are cacat. They are called trans-able. Yes. Because they believe that they are amputees, they cut their hands. Ada. But don't worry, the movement will come along. Don't worry. Maybe in next 10 years, 20 years, even 50 years, they will come. It will start just like how the LGBT movement started. From nothing to something. Nowadays in America, all 50 states have to legalize same-sex marriage. Any church, synagogue who doesn't want to solemnize the same-sex marriage akan kena cukai. So rumah ibadat dekat Amerika, they are not paying cukai. But if they refuse to mengahwinkan sesama jenis, they have to pay cukai. You see? Okay. So, this kind of thinking, has it been mentioned in Al-Quran? Yes, it is. If you look in the story of Lot, Prophet Lot, when they entered the house of Lot, to take the handsome visitors, what did Prophet Lot say? No, you can't, they are my guests. But what did the people of Lot say? Apa kaum Nabi Lut cakap? Dia kata, tak payahlah nak buat suci. Sama tak skrip kita hari ni? Sama tak? Sama. Remember, sometimes bila kita tak solat, contohnya, and then our friends cakap, solat lah, kau kenapa tak bersolat ni? And then what we say, alah kau tu perasan baik sangat, perasan suci. That script Nabi Lut punya kaum dah pakai lah. So if you think you are like that, use it. You know, in psychology we call it as defense mechanism. To be exact, projection. You know, I disagree with you, so I project. I'm in fight with you, and I see myself as the one who is more in anger. Okay, so what I do is I say, you are the one who cannot control this anger. For example, contohnya, you girlfriend I, contoh. Okay, you said you want to go to Mid Valley. Never mind lah, okay, you go. But deep down I cakap macam, tantah dia jumpa lelaki lain. Maybe he's seeing another guy. So I went there. And it is true, he's with another guy. So I confronted her with that guy. And what she said, in order to project back against me. You say that, sampai hati you tak percaya I. You see? He throw back the blame at us. That's what people of this sort are doing right now. Not only these people, actually all of us. But since we are talking about this, specifically about this group, we are focusing on them. So they are saying the same thing as people from the Prophet of Lot, saying that, you know, don't pretend to be holy. Macam lah kau tu baik sangat, projection. Lagi apa? Pakai tudung lah, kau ni dah lah, ni Muslimah, pakailah tudung. Alah, macam lah pakai tudung tu semua baik. Projection. Why? Dia tak nak pakai tudung, and to avoid the feeling of guilty, dia gunakan hujah tu. I remember one time, when I was in universities, there's one guy, you know, masa tu belum ada ni lagi belum ada handphone. All of us are using telephone, Telephone pay phone. So in order for you, there's a way for you not to pay, but you can still use the phone. Is you are using this one mechanism. I do not know how to explain it, but they're taking one part inside the lighter. Okay, you take that part, and when you flick it at the tip of the cable, okay, it will trigger something that enables you to dial freely. Okay. So I saw my friend did this, and I said to you, tak baik tau. This is considered as stealing. And you know what? You know what? What he said? He said, macam lah yang pakai kopiah tu semua baik. You know, I was turning around like, siapa yang pakai kopiah sini? Nobody is pakai kopiah. Am I wearing? No, I'm not wearing one. But the reason he's saying that because he feels guilty, and he doesn't want to feel guilty, so what he did was projecting his guilty feeling to other people. So this is what the people of Lord is doing. And the problem with us also, we are copying the attitudes of the people of old times. And it is not disappearing. We are still doing it. And then the last point, we are still using these ideas that people of old have never used, the human rights idea. Before this, if you read the story of Kaum Ad, Thamud, Ashabul Aika, and all other sorts of Kaum that has been destroyed by Allah Ta'ala, you have never heard in their narratives when they confronted their prophet, they say that this is our right. Ada you baca kisah kaum Nabi Samud. It is our right to worship other gods than Allah. No, they don't say anything about rights. But nowadays, you have these ideas, has been played all over again. It's like music. Whenever you are confronted, you say, no, it's human rights. No, homosexuality is wrong. No, it's human rights. No, lesbianism is wrong. No, it's human rights. You keep playing this, you know. And the idea of human rights has been presented so well in a conference of, I can say, of magnificent, with people of intellectuals coming all across the world, be in a forum, you know, so intellectual, so sophisticated, you know, so academic, that you think that they can't be wrong. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has says about it in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse 204. Allah ta'ala says, there are people whose speech, you know, about the matter of the world is very beautiful. If you listen to it, it's like, wow, very true, huh? You know, people come to you and say, you know, even though they are man and man, you know, woman and woman, what the important thing is love. Love is love, you know. Jesus loves you. Allah also teaches love. You know, Islam teaches love. What is wrong? You know, beautiful, right? Equality, this kind of thing, you know. It looks so macam, lovely, you know, equality, sweet, you know. But according to Allah Ta'ala, if it is against my will, if it is against my religion, then it is wrong. How sweet it is, how gorgeous it is, how appealing the idea it is. If it is against my religion, it is wrong. So I hope, before we go to the Q&A session, monitor your thoughts. Monitor your thoughts. Starting from this moment on, monitor your thoughts. Am I thinking the way the Al-Quran wants me to think? Sometimes we think that when we say something, since it is academically sounded, so it is true. No. Many a times, what sounded academically can be absurd, wrong, and rejectable.
Thank you very much. We come to end of our program today, and then this our goreng pisang is from hot to cold. So again, we complete our sincere appreciation. Thank you very much to our speaker, Dr. Yusof, for sharing with us very interesting, very knowledgeable, information for us. Definitely, we will all over here benefit from what you've been sharing with us. And I don't want to hold you long. We have some light refreshment over there. So please make yourself comfortable. Eat some still hot goreng pisang insyaAllah. Sekian wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.